Hey everybody.
Hi.
This is our third attempt at turning the stream on. Juggling a lot. Hey, we're doing a bit of a different stream today.
Mm-hmm.
Uh we recently got our hands on the board game Nemesis. And we're like, you know what? This fits the aesthetic of the Starforged stream pretty well. What if we could build God, everybody's calling me Hat Guy.
Hat
Perfect.
guy.
You saw that,
Oh
right?
yeah, I saw it, and I definitely agree with it, hat guy.
Okay, perfect. Uh, hey, so we've been we were hoping to play Nemesis today, but it just wound up. We were looking at it yesterday, and it was like, you know what? It's just gonna be rushed if we try to like play a full game. We got a lot going on in the background, and so instead, what we're doing is Tyler's gonna show you the design he's come up with for the Nemesis board using a large bundle, and then we will go over it with you guys, make adjustments, and yeah, just kind of see how you can make this stuff work for something unconventional, something uh, that's not like an RPG or a war game. How about a board game? What if you want to have your friends over and just do like a really over the top Nemesis session? So that's what we're doing today. Uh,
Sorry, I'm not talking just yet. I just was letting you do
yeah.
the.
Um,
And we've also got a couple of announcements at the top,
yeah, if you
right?
want to handle those. Yeah, do you want to handle those or do you want me to do it?
I'm happy to if you'd like.
You,
I
you,
mean,
you
like,
do it while I get some light on your face.
okay. So overnight we've broken through our $350,000 stretch goal for the window walls. Thank you, everyone. That's awesome. These pieces are I mean, like it was asked for, enough during even just the like lead into the project to have like windows, and as we were kind of thinking about beyond core pieces, what we would wanted to even see, that one came up a lot. Was like, well, if you really want to do a starship, or if you want to even just do anything that has some form of viewport, or even Eli's even talked about it, even in the bunker situation, it can also still be used for, half cover or that kind of stuff. Similar to like what barricades are doing, you can also utilize them there. So that's been unlocked. It is available for purchase. I will probably, I have this build that we're messing around with is based off the large bundle. So the window walls are not included in that, neither are the turbines, but I'm going to be using those items most likely just to kind of push them in here, show you what that kind of looks like. But thank you so much. We're off to our next goal, which is LED walls. And just to talk a little bit about that, like I said I would in Discord, I believe, I'm going to go ahead and grab one.
Perfect.
We're going to go ahead and grab a prototype, and I'm just going to talk through that just real quick as we continue. Is there a
Thank you,
better?
hamster. What's up? Yeah, I'll put the sniper on. Just a second.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
So excuse the reach. We're on a larger table. This build is about 50 inches by 32 inches, so we had to bring out the big table. Okay, so this LED wall, right, is like all of the other pieces uh, in Starforged. Great. In Starforged, it is 360, so we have sculpts on all sides. Now, for our prototyping purposes, we had to detach the back so that we could actually easily access a place for putting the socket as well as the battery. And so I know a lot of you have been asking what the backside actually looks like. So this does not have an LED socket on the back side of the LED, but it does have one on the front side, right there in the center. The white accent, obviously the cream accent anyway, helps blend with the windows as well as the other interior accessories like the capsule bed and the command console. It comes with two LED bulbs. All right. We've got a alert klaxon. It's hard to show these off with all the other extra lights, but this will be a breathing red LED, so it's going to kind of like wane and make it look like an alarm bell kind of a thing. And then we also have our holovid monitor. So it's going to be a blue LED. It's also, we're going to have a small decal on the front. So that'll also help diffuse some of the light that's going to be coming out. Because both of these have a very striking center light. So we were trying to figure out ways to kind of diffuse that, make that easier to look at when you're kind of messing around with it. Last note about this LED wall is currently it is going through a slight change from when we originally crafted it. You know, typical to our usual LED walls, we were thinking it was going to be a CR2032 battery and a switch. But with a conversation with our factory, we are actually able to do rechargeable batteries in this thing. So they'll be lithium ion rechargeable. It'll have a USB-C charging port, and we're going to include a cable with that pack. But obviously, it's a pretty common USB cable at this point. So that was kind of our other goal here, is we want to start trying to explore better options for LED use. This does mean it's, you know, a slightly more expensive LED switch, but again, the cost benefits of having to buy a bunch of 2032s and consistently have to replace them, I think kind of outweighs that. And I think you guys have also, you know, the few times we've talked about LEDs and the future of how we want to try to do it, have kind of been on board with that as well. So this benefits from a 2-inch by 1-inch by 40 by 38.1 technically millimeters. It's an inch and a half. So 2-inch, 1-inch, inch and a half. So it is a freestanding piece. It will match your wall heights, as you guys have already seen in some of the preliminary photos that you've caught it in. But it also, you know, obviously you can turn it upside down and have it more flush with other, as with everything, right? You can turn it upside down. Now it has better clean line right there. That's kind of the intention of those sculpts anyway. So if there's any additional questions, we're going to be happy answering them for the next little while. But that we just wanted to give a little deep dive into it real quick with everything that's just kind of like boilerplate about it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And, you know, it's going to be, you know, the LEDs are going to be swappable with all our past LEDs as usual. So you'll be able to take like the torches and put the torches in your spaceship if you want. You'll be able to put holovids in your dungeons if you want.
Yeah, it's why we opted for the LED socket rather than making it a bespoke LED inside of a thing. This was also a lot of what you all were talking about when you were saying LEDs, sci-fi seems ripe for LEDs. It's like, right, and we can make a unique item or a JST socket topper or whatever, but a lot of those kind of require a little bit more work. And what was nice about this was this is now something that can take to the rest of the line as we keep moving forward. We can add a couple of bulbs every time. We might even be able to make a new LED wall on top of that if the style constitutes it, right? So, but for right now, this is how we're working on it. Whew, I think that's the bigger updates. I mean, because other than that, it's Friday. The supply cache, our second supply cache has been revealed today. It is the Portals cache. So this is going to be a really nice option for anybody who's getting supply caches to get additional doors and trapdoor floors, as well as getting some more inside corners. Obviously, with all of our supply caches, the painted versions have more than the unpainted. It makes their values the same, so you get a little bit more when you get the unpainted version. But then obviously all the work is on you to finish them up and make them how you want them to look. So anybody looking to get more doors, anybody who's looking to get more doors or some trapdoor floors with the extra blast door inserts, that's a great one to grab if you're meeting the supply cache requirements.
Do you know where the charge port's going to be?
Currently, we want it to be on the side. We are still working with the factory right now to determine that specifically. The two spots that we have indicated as being where we really want it to be is on the side or on the bottom. But they have indicated that the side should be no issue. We have also hidden the switch as part of the sculpt. Eli's done this really cool thing where he tried to like make it a part of the actual facing wall, but they have let us know that they may need to adjust where that switch is to be more in line with where the port is, the charging port. So that might adjust a little bit. Sculpturally, it's going to stay about probably 95% the same. There may be a slight adjustment just to try to make certain that we're not just glaringly sticking a, a port on the side of a thing or whatever. We're gonna try to disguise it a little bit more so that we can still have sculpture on that side.
Mm-hmm. And it is just gonna take one LED at a time. It just has the one port.
Yes, just the one port.
Yeah. Would you ever consider having modular lighting in pieces like the light panels from Hellscape that all interconnect and then one wall plug entering the build somewhere to power it? That sounds very complicated.
I would consider it if it was cost effective.
Yeah, I feel like that would be...
As well as if we were still able to do cool sculptural designs. One of the things about the light panels is they are just ABS plastic and a light, right? So if there was any sculpture that needed to be on there, and it would have to be precise because it would have to fit the casing with all the electronics, because all the electronics have to fit an exact sort of measurement. I guess that's the long and short of it is that. Like, it would not only would it have to be economical, it would also have to be stylistically okay. Like, we would have to make certain that like we had enough quality if it was supposed to be a sculpted piece. If it was just like a light panel situation, again, maybe. But yeah, that'd be my long and short of it. Whew.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into discussing this Nemesis build.
Absolutely.
It turns out this stuff takes some time to set up.
Yes, especially because the game itself has some intricacies that you have to like account for. For instance, I took a couple of them out of the box just so we could kind of look at them immediately.
Mm-hmm.
When you have, I guess we're not in sniper, but like
I can go to sniper.
Yeah. When we have right, each room in the actual board game has a function, and it also has these counters, right? That kind of dictates how much the room has to do this one activity or whatever. It also tells you how many cards you have to give up. So how do we make certain that while you're playing this game, you still have enough area to see the card in the room you're supposed to be in, but then you also have to, if you can hand me one of those actually real quick, the alien and just another miniature. Yeah, perfect. So once you actually have people and aliens inside, or your invaders, what are they called?
Oh, they're aliens, I think.
Are
they called intruders?
Intruders. That's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Like I seem to recall them being like getting their own moniker. But right. So once you start actually putting these in there can be some tightness to the spaces, and that's the benefit of having a board for a board game is that you just it's empty space. When it's empty space, who cares?
Yeah.
So
and that is another thing. All the rooms on the board initially are 3 inches across.
Yeah.
Which is not feasible when you've got walls.
No.
And so the build is a bit bigger than the actual board.
It's about 150%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about double. It's like it's not double the size, but it's like it's 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things here too is that what I've attempted to do pretty predominantly throughout the design is utilize walls to indicate sort of the exterior parts, and then on the interior parts we get a little bit looser with the design, right? We can have a fully open floor plan, but this is also absolutely necessary because this room has 4 entrances. So when you have 4 entrances and you have to also try to have walls, that's nearly impossible without making it larger than you need it to be. So one of the challenges with this game was that like this is about narrow and sort of I guess claustrophobic gameplay, because you're not really spending time in the corridors, you're spending time in the rooms. Those are the things that are actually important. The corridors simply designate noise, right? So once you put one of these tokens on there, that indicates that you heard something down that corridor. And the mechanics play into that. There's also other tokens, so if those end up having to get into the room as well, you want to make certain that you have enough room for that and miniatures and the like. So anyway, some of those things had to go into account for some of this design. Additionally, I'm not using any of the doors within the large bundle to indicate any of the doors that go lock down into the corridors. A, you only have 6 portals within the large bundle. B, and there's 28 corridors. And B, it makes more sense to put these here because the doors don't actually go into the rooms. They are supposed to drop within the corridor. Come on in, Miles. Miles is going to join me and hanging out. We don't have any questions just yet, do we? I'm not like blazing through something and
I don't think so.
and we're okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So, having said all of that, let's go ahead and get into the build proper. We got in the back there the engine room, and I guess you got to take a second, huh?
All right, yeah. So let's do a quick walkthrough. What we got so far.
Yeah. So I tried to pre-build as much as I could. I have also posted in the Starforged pictures the way I had started on the whiteboard. So in the back we have 3 engine rooms. So I've built the I guess whatever starboard side engine room and the center engine room. Luckily, the easy map from Nemesis is a mirror. So everything that I've built here, I'm just going to copy on the other side. And that was kind of one of the first stages, was just making certain that there was enough walls, floors, and the like to actually build everything. And lo and behold, we actually had a few extra at the end of the day. The only thing I haven't built yet is the actual front of the ship, the nose of the ship, the actual console that you have to mess around with. So all of these are our 1 and 2 rooms, so they all have their own individual, right? These are randomly chosen at the top of the game. Yet another thing that was going to make playing it today difficult, because we'll want to add some accessories, and we'll want to show you how our command consoles and our multi-modules and the energy unit and how the LED wall might play into it, how window walls might play into it. So like, we'll want to try to do some of that, and it's a little bit easier within editing. And so we've used catwalks for all of our corridors. Now, most of those corridors are kind of built in a trying to mimic the directions as much as possible that were on the original board, but they don't, we don't have great diagonal bending catwalks, so it's really, it can be tough.
I'm going to.
You're gonna switch the camera
I'm gonna
side?
switch the camera up onto a taller tripod so we can look down better.
You got it.
So give me 2 seconds while I do that.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting on that, Miles and I, and Chris actually, and Ray, played Nemesis like, it feels like 2 months ago now, and it's probably even more.
Yeah, probably.
But we, the first time we played it, we did the exact rookie mistake of going
let's split
in
up.
4 different directions, and literally within the first sentence of like some great first timer things to know, go together. It was after we had already gotten like 3 rounds in, and we're like, oh well, that explains why we were just unable to do anything.
Yeah. And single cycle of turns, we filled half the board with
alerts.
noise.
Yeah.
So it was
Turns
a wild
out.
one.
Turns out. Well, we were also rolling really crappy too. Like we were like consistently doing like, oh, just every corridor gets a noise. Could use maybe the walls of force, or like for those doors if you have them and want to make more. Yeah, absolutely.
It was force. Yeah, I mean, or like you could use, if you have spare barricades, would work fine probably.
Yeah. The catwalks are pretty thin is the other thing that I'm saying, is that like when you actually put this door on the catwalks, they fit perfectly. Like the door cardboard is 1 inch, and so it fits those catwalks perfectly. So why not just use them?
Yeah.
Especially because the other like overarching thing I should say about this is this is not a replacement for your regular board. This was, hey, we thought it would be interesting to try to build it with a large bundle. Let's see if we could. More than anything, because I really like this game, and I will tell you right now, it's probably going to be a little, not even just a little. It's going to be simpler to play it on the board game. This is for you to have an awesome time where you've built something out and you really want to like just mess around with it. Additionally, I was saying this to Chris as well, was that what I think this can also do is it can also be a pretty interesting interior build if you're ever looking to build the interior of a ship and you want like some narrow corridor passageway stuff. This is building so many rooms and they're so small that I would probably half the number of rooms and let them expand just a little bit more. And then that would kind of shrink the board as well by probably about a foot. So it would be closer to like 38 by 20 or 38 by 22 or something like that.
But yeah, just the building style of having just wherever your room encounters are going to be happening and just connecting them with the tunnels. I think it's a different way to build interiors that I think it's neat. Like it looks different, covers more tables, so like you can.
I know it's one of the things that
more like spread and give you more room to like play. I don't know. I
know,
like it,
and it's one of the things that people were saying about like the difference between seeing the photos for the medium build and the medium bundle and the large bundle. Is like, oh, I can really see those things, and the large bundles are really cool builds, but like this is actually making like a ship again.
Yeah, why don't we walk through room by room now, using kind of minis to show the space and examples.
Okay.
Okay. Starting in the back row.
Yeah. Oh, you want to grab a ladder, Miles? And just a ladder.
Oh, okay.
Not
Yeah.
right, but here.
Okay.
Because you.
I'm closer.
No.
Yeah. Good job.
You want to grab that turbine though and put the turbine on top? It's on the bottom.
Thanks.
Nope. Just to the left of those. There you go. Isn't that fun?
That there.
Okay. So again, back here we've got our engines. Everything is mirrored. So we'll run through the rooms, and then I'm going to start building some of the other ones, go through them a little bit. So for the engine room, one of the mechanics within the game is having to check on the engine, and it's a secret. So you have a little token under here. So we would basically end up putting that token underneath the turbine, and then this is the actual engine. So then you can utilize it whenever you want, and it can be a really fun little interacting point. But on the middle section of the engine, yeah, if you want to go ahead and get that set up while he's taking care of stuff here. Yeah. We're actually going to suspend this turbine. Ooh. Yeah. It's a little loose because of the top. Yeah. So because we can do it 360 and we can also suspend it up, then you could put the card right on top, and then it becomes a neat little stand for it at that same time.
I think that's cute. Using it as like a little
Yeah.
engine shaped engine card holder.
Exactly.
Is fun.
So again, another every room there is generally speaking at least one fully open 2x2. So that way, if you and a couple of people are in the same room,
Let's grab a couple.
and then an intruder comes into the same room, you have enough room. You have enough space because it's sci-fi. You have enough space to you have enough space to have everything in the same room and interacting points. So in the back room with the engine, we also put the trapdoor. I was going to put the cables insert in there, and so when you guys see the final, you'll notice a lot of the extra things. Yeah, if you want to just go ahead and slap and we'll pull out this straight wall for now, just so you can kind of see it a little bit better. Or maybe it's the corner actually. If you can move the corner. Yeah. So we'll put the pipes in there, the cable insert. And then underneath the engine, we're also going to put the texture patches. We don't currently have them right now, but in that little space under there, right? that's another way that if you're trying to mix your exterior and interior pieces, right, as we were doing here, you're always going to have this negative space underneath. So if you also have texture patches, or if you have terrain trays or any of the other things, that's a great way to use your graphics to better effect. Is like, that's just a negative space part to put the glowing texture patches or the other things that you have, or even light panels if you want.
Someone said they haven't played Nemesis, but it sounds like a darker version of Among Us. It's not. It's not that. It's. I'd say the difference being like, what some say whether or not you're like an imposter.
Yeah.
But like you get some choices on how imposter you end up being.
It's pretty cool.
And knowing that someone's working against you doesn't inherently make them lose. It just helps you to maybe avoid it.
Yeah. So again, this would then be mirrored over here. So we have another engine in the same style. The other thing to note is on the board, there are entry points for each intruder. They're called technical corridors.
Yeah.
And so in each room that there's supposed to be a technical corridor, we've added, an accessory wall. So now this becomes the entry and exit point of the intruders when they have to come in and out, if that's where they're coming in and out from.
Which is fun.
Well, the large bundle comes with 10 accessory walls, and there are 8 technical corridors. So it was like a really good... additionally, there are 13 terminuses, and so you can also put 8 terminuses towards each accessory wall on the back sides, or on the front sides even, or however you want to do it.
Oh, that'd be fun. You have like a little terminus on the back, like that's the corridor coming out the back.
Exactly. So like it's all about conceptual.
Yeah.
Because the game is just going to do the mechanic. So like, great. Again, as we come into these other sections, these are all the 1 and 2 rooms in this little spot all around. As you move through as you move through the ship is all I'm trying to say. So these all just get randomized, but the size of these will stay the same. And so sometimes I'm thinking, at least in the randomization of which rooms are going where, maybe it is nicer for one room to have a little bit more space because it's got all the fire in it or whatever. Additionally, as we come towards the center, we're going to talk about this guy right here. On the board, there are also escape capsules. There's, yes, and that's, there's escape pods, I guess, is really what I'm trying to say. And so we're going to try to use the capsule beds in the gameplay. Let's go ahead and put them on an angle. Yeah, perfect. And just 2.
Oh, right.
So there's 4 in the large bundle, so this works out perfectly.
Oh, perfect.
Or I think there might be a little bit more, but I know there's at least 4. So that's why we're going to use our door wall, right? This door wall, this portal works better for this use case than as what I guess I don't.
A door in the corridors.
A door in the corridors. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called though. It's not a blast door. It's like it's just like a security lockdown or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. So those only open at a certain point in the game, so you can have your blast door insert in there, or the hex field insert if you would like. And then at the stage of the game where they actually open, you can pull it up, and then great. Now that's a good visual cue that the escape pods are open or active. Because they also have tokens. They do also have tokens that say inactive and active, or taken or destroyed or whatever it was. So you can also put those with the capsule beds too. So there's not too much more to say about like the extra rooms because they become so randomized, because they aren't something that like you get to determine too much. But one of the things that I was really looking forward to, especially within the corridors, was just like you can't really like have your miniatures stay in there, but just to try to make it look more like there was somebody who was, I'm so sorry, this is a two thoughts competing, was that it was even in this space, I'd thought about like conceptually in the ship if you could see something from the engine from this far away, like you're seeing through like little hatches or pipe coverings while you're like looking down through it. That's kind of what was hitting my brain, because on the board, like you can see like, oh yeah, there's little inner workings that are supposed to be hidden throughout. And so that's going to be the kind of the other trick with this, is that you're going to have a lot of accessories that you're going to want to use. And so these are also great places to use them, even if you just want to add some character, even if you just want it there just to put it for flavor or whatever, it's perfect. So we're going to move to the centerpiece here. Can you hand me that ramp?
Yep.
Perfect. So what that's going to do is it's going to allow us an easy way to do some elevation within our build as well. That was kind of one of the things as I was moving through it that I was realizing like halfway through. I was like, I haven't done anything elevated yet, and I just think that like that would start to make this look even better, as well as just like slightly different than just a bunch of small, tiny little rooms.
Yeah.
So as we come up here, we've biscuited 6 4-inch catwalks together to give basically a 5x4 amount of space. And this is the hibernation chamber. So we're actually going to use a couple multi-modules in here because we have 15. So like we'll be able to place. Oh, you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine.
I just lose all vision above the hat.
Yeah.
The amount of times that
We all I
walked into those lights.
I do it all the time.
Oh,
We're gonna go ahead and right. So we'll put 4
right.
on the back here, and then we'll put 2 here. Right. So this is just preliminary.
Whereas like, they're all facing away from the camera.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you know, but this is where the chambers are all supposed to be in general. We can also pull them forward and angle them more, because that's kind of the point, is that like this is a room that you can return to, but it's also the larger room, and there's not much you can actually do in this room, if I recall.
Yeah.
Any?
Well, until the end. If you're heading home,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you
yeah.
think you're heading home, you can climb back in the chamber and sleep till you're there.
At the legacy tri-pack. Yeah. Yes, I get what you mean for the legacy tri-pack for retaliation. I was like, I almost late pledged, and then you were like, I bought the first one. I was like, well,
There's no point.
there's no point getting
Yeah.
all 3 again. Or at least the first one again. It's definitely work together to survive while trying to figure out how you as a person want to win. Yep. I've never played this, but I'm happy for the fans who are going crazy for this. It's a great game. Like, we only got to play the one time so far, but I think what I really liked about it was I always love an exploration mechanic.
Yeah.
Anytime that you can go into something and get a surprise is great. I think, again, after we found out the real way you're supposed to play, it's going to make traversal a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it also makes more sense as to, like, it's a different brand of co-op. It's like Lethal Company, right? Where it's like, you don't really want to go by yourself anywhere. You do kind of want to head in at least units of 2. And that was also, I was playing the Scout, and that's like a huge chunk of the Scout's abilities are, hey, you can move right after someone and not add any noise.
Yeah.
Or it might have even been the opposite. You can move and have somebody move with you. So it's like, or that might be the leader or whatever. But I just mean to say, like, there's a lot of cool stuff like that where you're like trying to.
It was
You're
clearly
trying to collaborate.
incentivize us to work together more than we did. I was thinking about it in terms of like the essentially working together until the end.
Yeah.
I think, having never played, there was a lot of like, all right, you got your hidden objective, and it's like, I gotta start working to that now. Like, that won't matter if you don't make it.
If you don't live
this
too
is
much.
not priority 1. Survival is priority 1. That
Exactly.
Yeah, Aeroschismo, that's something that we're thinking about as well, is a lot of the stretch goal pieces can be used to kind of enhance the board. You can absolutely do it without those. You don't need the turbines for the engine rooms, but
No.
it's fun to have them there.
Yeah.
The LEDs, like, you don't need them to represent the board, but it's a fun addition to it. Yeah.
Which one?
The engine.
Yeah. Let's get to
This one?
Okay, let's get to the rest of this.
Conceptually, in my head, I'm like, or it could even.
All right, let's get to the rest of this.
Okay.
I was trying to think if there was a mechanic in a room that would be good for like using the klaxon specifically. But it's been a while, so I don't remember. Because like fire, you could use it to show fire, like just like maybe swap a barricade or place an LED wall with a klaxon.
Sure.
But there's probably a better mechanic that a klaxon would like show.
I don't
them
think it
fire.
works so much for regular Nemesis. There is Nemesis Lockdown, which does
Okay.
have like an alarm mechanic.
Okay.
You
That'd be
can
fun.
use the hollow vid monitor, however, because I was gonna say like, you can put the console here for effect, right? You can have it in the main room. That's why that was looking weird.
Yeah.
I was like, what? So you can have it in the main room, right? But if you have the hollow vid in any of the rooms that have consoles,
Yeah.
anything that has like a computer that you're supposed to interact with,
Yeah.
then perfect. Like
Which is
that,
something a lot of times you don't find out till
you flip.
you flip the card. But
Yeah.
like but with the the LED wall being like freestanding, like
Yes.
swapping it in is a lot easier to do. So it is a fun thing to like have the visual in the room the way you would on the card usually, which I think is fun.
Additionally, it's like it's why I haven't placed any inside corners, is because you can put inside corners anywhere.
Yeah.
And add it for flavor. Like for gameplay, I'm needing it less, but it can really still tie the visual of the rest of the ship together.
Yeah. So that's the main thing. Is a lot of these rooms are kind of generic or have like a couple features, like having the escape pods off of a couple certain ones, but like the main 16 rooms, we're not exactly following the shape of them, and he kind of like tried to make an organic flow between each of those rooms just based on where the corridors have to go.
Yeah.
But then there's those couple specialty rooms: the engine room, the hibernation chamber, and then eventually the cockpit.
Yes. In fact, how about we move the board?
Start putting that cockpit together.
Yeah. And the box over there.
So I think at this point, what we'll do is we will kind of finish building the rest of the board, because we're not able to get through the whole thing. Because the game takes a lot to set up when it's just on the board.
Mm-hmm.
It takes even more time to set up when you're using terrain.
I'll go ahead and send you the. What are you looking for?
And so here, we would love to hear your guys' ideas, because the plan with this is to get the whole thing set up and then just film like an actual like high production like playthrough on it, essentially, so that we can have just like a really cool rendition of like what you could do for a Nemesis game. And again, all of this is using just a large bundle and then a couple stretch goal packs if you want to like jazz it up with the stretch goal packs. But when Tyler like worked this out on the whiteboard, it was like you could do this and still have pieces left over with a large bundle.
2 accessory, 2 straight. I'll just grab them actually. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Are we doing the barricades too?
Yeah.
2?
Okay.
We well, it's the only ones that are gonna go down that far, I think.
Yeah.
But you also have a bunch of multi-modules, so you can even just grab the multi-module. I've got all the pieces right here.
Oh. I
So-
didn't see where the barricades were.
They're still in the bucket too. So I'm just those. I'm gonna hand you 2 corners.
If you're doing a game night, it sounds like you'd want to do the randomization and building well in advance. You should definitely build out before the game.
Oh yeah. That's partially why I'm saying like we really couldn't build and play today. Just also because of some of the things that we had to do today.
The week in general just got busier than we were expecting for a couple reasons. But we really want to at least get this build
And then you'll need
all put together so we can take photos and be like, look, if everybody who's wondering how you can do Nemesis, you can do it with just the large bundle. That's the main thing. The finished size, Tyler, what does the finished size come out to?
Oh, and one more. Sorry, and one more 1x2. Finished size comes out to 50 by about 32 inches. 50
yeah.
inches by 32 inches.
So you're looking at essentially a little over 4 feet long and a little under 3 feet wide. So you could still fit that on your general gaming table. I think so.
Hmm?
It's not prohibitively long.
No.
It's not going to fit on a coffee table, but
No, I mean, yeah, we're also, sitting here doing that ourselves. Yeah, I'm wondering what else there is to say or talk about, even.
let's see. I think the biggest thing, the randomization elements, and just in general, like a huge thing with this is, we didn't want to just figure out like this is how you can make like the shape of the board. We also want to make sure that it's playable.
Mhm.
So a big part of it too, and part of the reason why it's larger, is we needed to have space for when the aliens show up, and if you've got multiple people in a room. So we didn't
Yeah.
want to try and just stick to, because we could just do like a bunch of diagonals, like just pushed together to make like rooms that are roughly the same size as the board rooms. But then you don't really have like any playable space. Most of the aliens can't fit in there because of the walls.
Yeah.
It's just generally not as playable.
Yeah.
And so it's, looking at this, and one, just kind of also working to the point of trying to use a large bundle instead of just saying, buy 10 advanced core sets and just use nothing but diagonals. Because that's not very good for building anything outside of Nemesis. But I think this kind of freeform, not freeform, but this kind of altered this kind of altered layout where the rooms had different shapes, but they still kind of follow the same flow as the game board, and everything still maps onto it pretty cleanly. You're still going to want tokens to label the numbers on the corridors. You're still going to want tokens.
You still have to use a good chunk of the components from the game, like just because of the nature of the game.
Yeah. But then stuff like coming up with the beds for the escape pods and stuff like that is just really cute.
I'm gonna have to go in by quite a bit. Thought I measured this correctly, but it's gonna have to come in.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. And again, this is just for the first Nemesis game. Lockdown would be an entirely different setup. And I think it's one of the things that's really cool about the Nemesis games. It's just that each one, there's obviously consistent mechanics and consistent themes, and you can carry a lot over from game to game, just in their design. But it's also different end goals and different scenarios, which is, I don't know, that's cool. It's cool to have kind of like a trilogy the way that they've made it. I'm very curious to see how Retaliation comes out.
I have to use my big brain for this. I don't have one.
Left mine at home.
Also, if anybody has any questions about the campaign as a whole, also here to answer. But at this point, we're kind of just going to be building the rest of this out.
Yep.
So there's that. So that lines up there.
Huh. How did we get off on the backside?
What?
Yikes.
Off symmetry? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Screw some up.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Yeah, because this should be... This should be here.
Hey, Frida, how's it going?
Why did...
It has been wild seeing just how many requests people have for how many different games. I think the fun thing about it is the pieces are generally generic enough that you can get away with it.
Yeah, that's...
For a lot of different kind of settings. People are pointing out people are kind of pointing out. Yeah, I think it was actually you, Frida, that brought up the Thing board game, which I didn't know exists. And looking at that, like, because we built out Clue with our pieces before, and I
We're
think
talking a whole.
looking at the way that
Oh.
the Thing is set up, I don't think it would be terribly
The
different.
stairs are there.
They are there.
Yeah. And so this is in, which brings
Yeah. Okay, I.
this here.
Okay, so it's actually these things just need to slide over. Basically, that was why this messed up.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
'cause
gotta-
this
I just
goes
gotta-
on this one.
Yep.
It connects there, not there. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take a second and do some.
Shifting.
Just do
And
some
shifting.
surgery.
Let's see. Hey, Robin. Love that game so much. It's so fun and easy, especially since like the board just has to be there, not be inch for inch perfect. So it's not. I didn't really look at the mechanic. I'm assuming that the Thing game is like a kind of imposter style, like one of you is infected and you're trying to infect the rest or something. I'm assuming infect or kill the rest. I love the Thing. That's one of my favorite movies. I think it's really cool to add that tactile feel to the traditional 2D board games. I think gets players more engaged. Yeah,
I think I'm gonna
and
do that
you've
instead.
seen. I think there's this. I think there's a video of somebody who just like 3D printed a very specific like Nemesis board game.
Is that's gonna actually.
And just being able to, especially if your group is just really into Nemesis, I think it's very fun to be able to like just make a setup where you can just go all out. Like there are people who just like setting up like events out of it. You know, there are people who like kind of going just over the top, and we've had so many requests for it specifically.
Over the top? They have a board game for over the top?
Yeah. I like the idea that it's just an arm wrestling board game.
It's like Rock'em Sock'em.
Yeah.
Just put your elbows in. Oh, they do popcorn bucket it, where you have to stick your hand through something to then.
I can't believe.
I interrupted you for that.
No, I just can't believe that popcorn bucket made it through.
All of the levels of.
It got greenlit through every level of like upper management. Not a single person like caught it, or they realized it and thought just that would be good marketing.
Right.
Because I mean, it got everybody talking about it.
Yes,
It comes with Thing miniatures. Oh no. Is that game still being produced? Is the Thing game still being produced, or would I have to like find an old copy somewhere?
In the drawing, this is only 2
Robin,
by,
if you know
not 3.
Nemesis at all,
Yeah. I
I
had add-
like swap
No.
these two.
I had added this on purpose. I wanted it to go out just a little bit more.
Okay. I just
So
didn't know.
this is gonna come in, and then it's gonna need a half inch.
can post its Amazon link. It's like 50
you
to
can
70
actually
US
help
dollars.
me.
Yeah, go for it.
Scooch some of this.
Oh, these ones.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
saying
these-
yeah.
How difficult is Nemesis to get into? Super crunchy rules. Do you need to paint the minis? You don't need to paint the minis. We did it for fun.
In terms of crunchy rules, it is, but it's also in the sense of, and then, perfect. It is crunchy in the sense that, there's just a lot of them, and if it's your first time playing, it's a lot of concepts all at once. So like it can be a bit overwhelming. But once we actually started playing for real, once we got into a groove of the turn order, which I think is the case for every single board game ever, is as soon as you understand how the turn works, the game flow is much easier. Because then it becomes about random rulings, right? Where it's like, okay, I didn't experience this the first time. I didn't experience a red card. I've only experienced blue cards. What does a red card do? Oh, it does these things. Oh, okay, cool. It does blah blah blah. But anyway,
But yeah, I don't know. In terms of like, I honestly it felt like less crunchy than I feared. It was
Yes.
about as crunchy as I expected from this
I
kind of game.
completely agree.
You know?
Yeah. Can I get one of these?
Yeah, Oh yeah, Hamster's literally here. So I painted the player minis, and Hamster painted all the aliens. let's see, 60 on Amazon in stock. That's not bad at all.
Right.
Really cinematic plays in it. Like you're in the cockpit and the queen spawns in there with you. You can kind of picture it in your head cinematically. Yes, which is why I think doing terrain with it would feel really fun. Love games with the trader mechanic. Yeah, basically every player is given 2 personal goals, and you like at the beginning, and it's a personal goal and it's a corporate goal. It's essentially you're given the option to pursue a goal that is just like motivated by your character. So it's like you want to like get revenge on this person or something, so I want to make sure this person doesn't make it off alive. Or you have like a corporate goal where it's like the company that sent you here, like yeah, you're trying to survive, but you've been sent here to pull off this specific thing. So it could be the goals range from making sure that one player dies, or making sure that the alien dies, or making sure that no escape pods leave. And you get dealt them like randomly at the beginning, and you have to choose which one you want to pursue, and nobody knows what your personal goal is. So everybody's kind of going through, and you need to work with everybody enough for you to survive. But you just don't know when somebody's going to kind of play their hand and show that like
They're trying to kill you.
yeah, like when they like reveal what their personal goal is, it can really throw everything into chaos.
Didn't you and Ray have competing kill this person goals?
I think one of Chris's was to kill me.
Oh, okay, yeah. But then Ray's was to kill him.
Yeah. Mine was like it was like essentially like go down with the ship, or like essentially the ship was the most important thing to me. Like I didn't have to kill anyone, but the ship making it back was my number 1 priority for my character.
Can I get that 2-inch?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really fun. It's a very fun game, and it has a lot of replayability because of that. Like I think because the main flow of the game is going to be the same every time. So once you learn that, it's not that difficult to just kind of move through it quickly. Where it gets complex and where it gets interesting is, what are the goals that you're going to be given? What are the goals that other people are going to be given? And then what is randomly going to happen? When are the aliens going to appear? Are you going to have a run where you manage to kind of just avoid making noise altogether? And what does that look like versus a run where you accidentally just make a bunch of noise right out the gate? You know? And I think that's the thing. And that's
Who would do that?
That just makes it like a really well-designed game.
Agreed.
Is Dead of Winter the ones that's also kind of like that? I played something like that. I don't know Dead of Winter.
Has the name of one that could be like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I need a diagonal and a corner.
Do we have the? We should bring over the barricades, huh?
Yeah, I thought you did.
No, I just grabbed the 2 that we needed. Well, womp womp.
All right.
Looks like he's almost got the cockpit ready.
Yeah,
You stay clumped out or spread out was tough. Speed versus noise. Yeah, we all went. So we got afraid
I guess the
when we first played. We didn't quite understand how the noise mechanic worked, and so we thought that if we all went the same way, we'd be more likely to trigger like aliens in a room. So we all just split up, but then we all ended up like triggering a bunch of noise in 4 different parts of the ship simultaneously. And it just went downhill really fast from there. And it's really fun too because a lot of the equipment stuff you can get is really smart. Like you get grenades, and it's like, if you throw a grenade into a room, it's gonna hit everybody in that room. So you could, if your goal is to kill a certain player, you could throw a grenade in there when they're with an alien. You're just like, I'm hoping it's just gonna, while still staying under the guise of, no, I'm trying to help. Like I'm trying to scare off this alien. Like I'm not trying to kill you.
Okay. It's all good. Just leave it for now.
Yeah.
What happened here?
Dead of Winter, you're fighting off zombies, but usually one player is secretly a traitor trying to sabotage the base. It's pretty cinematic with a wide range of how the game could turn out. Fascinating. Our first play, we got so many aliens that they reset. There's a weird mechanic if you can't spawn another alien that they all retreat.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, what? What? Really? Why?
I think just to make certain that you can like
that it doesn't become
that you can just
completely
like
unwinnable.
keep playing maybe.
You hit a certain point where it's like, we can't take all these aliens. The best thing we can do is spawn enough aliens to make them all leave. That's very funny.
What happened here? Why is it off? By like just this fraction of an amount.
What is?
Execute the perfect backstab, then get unlucky and swarmed.
Is it just because it's
I really want to get more games in, just in general.
is it just not far enough forward?
I guess this is a little off from that one.
Oh, it is,
slightly forward.
right?
It's not those. It's just there's that.
Is it just that?
And this one, it's not
Because
like
like
even perfectly there.
this is one of the issues too, is that like, you know, you're doing negative space, so like you have to kind of like be patient with yourself, I think. And just like
Dwarf 1971. We have an actual dwarf. Fascinating.
a 50-year-old
How's it going?
dwarf.
53, if that's what the number's about. It might not be. It probably is. Let's see. So we're pretty close. Man, it'd be fun to work in. Well, it seems like we're getting pretty close to done with the.
We're
Full layout.
very nearly there.
Yeah,
It's
then
just
Yeah, the nice thing is the map of the ship really is mirrored except for like one corridor. So it's how they're basically
the
built
center
up.
has some stuff, but all the outsides is
Yeah.
is this the same line?
this is not there. But
Let's see. Just browsing the Wildland Reforged restock on the website, and there were no mountain floor sets coming. Is that supposed to be that way? Wildland Reforged restock. Let me check real quick. I think what that is just showing like here's the new sets that are like here's like the new compositions that are coming. The mountain floors, we didn't make a new set for it. They should be getting restocked because we had them in the campaign. I think it just isn't.
there.
Let me see.
See, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it should
This
be
one's gonna
coming.
be a
I think
little
it
bit
just
off now,
isn't.
too.
I think that's because this isn't perfectly centered.
Yeah, that's got to
Yeah,
switch.
they should be there. It's just not a new set, and that's like showing
Yep.
like these are like the brand new compositions that are coming in. If you're looking at like the Wildlands Reforged, like new set
Well,
collection,
because-
which I'm trying to find the link to it so I can confirm that, but I'm not seeing it.
This has got to be.
No chance we could get a TV static screen window insert for the window wall, right?
So strange.
Do we
He's
not
distracted.
for this half an inch?
No. It's not.
I'm
so much
assuming the
that,
answer
it's
is
that
probably no, but who knows?
the outside flares make it look like it's, but it should be like that.
Let me check.
Because follow the line. That line is going to line up where it needs to go,
Check out the new.
and that's the weirdness.
Yeah, this is just a new compositions collection.
So this should be fine.
What's weird to me is this doesn't seem like it lines up the same place it does here.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the other nice thing about the windows, it's going to be very easy to make your own inserts if you do want something that we didn't provide. It's going to be very simple.
Let me just double check
You just
the
like
line on the
print
front.
something out. You can just slot it into that hole. Yeah, Dwarf. Looking at the collection that I'm pretty sure you're looking at, it says like Wildlands Reforged new
This is
compositions.
so strange.
It just wouldn't have the mountain floors in there because it's not a new composition, but they will
I
be
guess this is actually not.
getting released along with a lot of other existing wilderness sets when that stuff hits the stock. Let's see.
It's just a touch of weirdness.
Thanks for another great delivery of loot. Wildlands Reforged arrived from me 2 days ago in Europe. Complement my existing collection quite well. Awesome. I think almost everybody has their Wildlands Reforged right now. We've had a couple incidents, not incidents. We've had a couple instances. It's a much less dramatic word. We've had a couple instances of customs holding
I
onto
think
it
this
a
is
bit,
off.
and
This?
Yes,
you know,
that's off.
asking
That's
us to
why.
confirm that they've already paid
I
the
don't know where it
duties.
would be then.
But we can clear
Unless
those
that
up,
can be
and we're
there.
working with them to
can
like
get
sort
that.
through all the paperwork and all that. Customs can be pretty annoying about it, But I think for the most part, everybody's got their stuff by this point.
This is too close.
I think it's our first time like delivering early. It's like a month
It doesn't
early.
need to go on the floor as much as it needs to go like there.
Really want to make an underwater window insert so I can make a submarine build or like Rapture from Bioshock. That'd be fun. I've talked a couple times about wanting to make the like want to be able to do like the spaceship aquarium like in Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Just have a wall that's
Is on the front.
your exotic space fish. But we'll see.
Barricade lines up like this. This one is way out here. Unless this is
Rapture would
supposed
be
to
sick.
out.
There's got to be a Bioshock RPG at this point, right? Like somebody must have homebrewed one, if nothing else. Yeah, all the pieces being used right now. This is the large bundle, and
That's why.
yeah,
It's not
for
lined up
making
to
this
it's
thing,
lined up to the edge.
Tyler only used the large bundle, and there's actually pieces left over. So everything you've seen on the table is the large bundle, and then he's got like 3 of the turbines for the engine rooms. Because there's a couple instances where the stretch goals can really kind of jazz up the board. Not necessary, obviously, to cover all the space, but he was able to make a full playable version of the Nemesis board with the corridors where they're supposed to be. The rooms are larger than on the board so that they're actually playable, because when you have the walls there, like you can't actually have the rooms just be 3 inches across. So this way, each room does have space to put aliens and playable characters and all that.
We can if we have to scooch this to that as well. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, guys, I know I tried to block it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should all be... Seems like things are getting pretty close.
Well, it's close. It's just also still, when you're eyeballing squares.
That's fair.
It can be tough. When I was doing it on the whiteboard, it's a lot easier because you can just count them.
This is considered an interior build, yeah. Even though at this point we are actually flipping some of the pieces over. Like you can see in the middle here, the hibernation chamber room is actually a raised up area. So that is built like exterior style and using the ramps to kind of go, the ramps and stairs to go up. So it's just like a higher room in the spaceship, basically. I would consider this basically an interior build.
This is an interior build for sure.
Yeah. It's just a different way to build interiors.
Yeah.
As opposed to just everything inline using strictly walls. Lets you cover more table space.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Yeah, but as you can see, that center area is flipped over and raised up just to, it just makes the build a little more interesting when you've got, like, a raised area. I feel like if I was a wargamer, I'd buy so much unpainted so I could paint the terrain to match my factions. I think that's, like, one of the
That'd be fun.
big reasons to go unpainted, like, especially if you play skirmish. A lot of people who
scooch that.
do
Just
Warhammer and the
so
like,
just that-
custom
just-
painting to match your specific army.
just that.
So I don't know, even just like making my Skaven, settling on the color scheme and like what these colors mean in
Because
like
I'm
my
also
version of a
gonna try
Skaven
that.
army was a lot of fun. And as I'm like designing the faction terrain for it, as I'm getting my
Whatever.
gnaw holes ready, like trying to think like how do I make like these the color themes and all that? How do I make that come through in as many places as possible? And I think in general, like in the painting video, Hamster showcases quite a few of the other paint schemes that he'd come across, because it's things like he has basically what looks like the inside of a Star Destroyer. At one point, this like very white, like pristine, clean looking paint scheme. An inline Nemesis build would cost a small fortune. Yes. That's one thing is with people asking for like a Nemesis bundle, we're like, well, if you want to do like inline 1-to-1, it's gonna be so many advanced core sets to get just like all those diagonals.
And you're gonna have so many pieces you don't end up needing in order to get those diagonals. Yeah, it'd be a mess.
Yeah. So really, we wanted to try and just make it work with an existing bundle as much as possible, and we've really kind of landed on that. I don't think your players would be upset if you set this thing up for them instead of the cardboard. Let's see. Wish Randy would do a spreadsheet like in the other Kickstarter. Oh, there is a spreadsheet.
Yep.
It doesn't let me put in the amount of sets to calculate my pieces.
There's
It should. It might be on a different sheet in that spreadsheet. Let me see.
well, no, it's not gonna let you like choose your sets and then calculate the pieces. You will still have to calculate your own pieces. It will do a piece breakdown of all of the bundles, but then from there you would still have to calculate further if you know.
Okay.
It's not a calculator in terms of like
It's not like an optimizer.
no.
That was a
There's
user-driven
a-
sheet for Bring to in Lowtown. Okay. I think it's who is it?
It's probably
Um,
Randy's.
Not Randy's. There's like an optimizer
Right.
because in Lowtown, was it in Lowtown or was it in Reforged? I thought Randy made like the spreadsheet and then somebody else made the optimizer. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. As you're saying it, I'm remembering more of what you mean.
Yeah.
Need to biscuit all this.
Yeah.
Habit.
Just pick some random bundles and called it good. I need to actually figure out my pledge. That's fair.
Reasonable.
Grab one each of the megas for now. Oh, so like the Mega Catwalks, Mega Core. Is that it? Those are the Mega Packs, yeah. Just the Core
Just
Mega,
the core,
and then
the bunker, and the
Bunker Mega.
yeah. Those are the only megas. What are you looking
Okay.
for?
That guy. So corner diagonal.
I'm a simple creature who wanted pipes. I think the pipes are going to be useful for anybody. I mean, it's the most fantasy compatible, right? Trying to figure out how many catwalks I'd want. I get the feeling I'll just use them in lots of places, not just in space. Absolutely. The catwalks, anywhere where people could reasonably be working metal, you could have catwalks and pipes.
I think it's the opposite direction.
Which one?
Mega Core, Mega Bunker, Mega
This
Catwalk.
goes
Oh, Mega
here, this goes
Accessory.
here.
Right.
Corner. Pip.
Accessory Mega Packs. It's got the interior and the
then
exterior
barricades.
dressing and a barricades pack. And a metal stairs? Or no?
So
Yeah, and a
currently,
metal stairs, I think.
this has to line up.
No, not a metal
Oops,
stairs.
okay. What's there? Where's? Oh,
I was going to
Yep,
agonize
I
over
was like,
optimizing.
huh? You made it the right shape.
I was
And
going
obviously, there's a little bit of like a hey, some of these things are
I was going to agonize over optimizing, but the large bundle covered it all for me. I'm sure I'll probably end up with 2 more pipe megas and all the stretch goal packs, though. Hey, man. Whatever you think you're going to use in your builds, like that's really what it comes down to. Considering both starter bundles, both the starter bundles together would give you like a good amount. You'd like that basically means that the stuff that you get in the exterior, those extra walls and such, would be able to just expand the size of your interiors because you'll already have the doors from the other starter. I think it's not a bad idea. And then also, any of the interior stuff can expand your exteriors as well. You'll get a good amount of catwalks. You get some good accessories.
There you
Do you get barricades in this? You do. You get barricades in the starter exterior. The barricades, I think, are also something that like you really shouldn't miss. The barricades slap.
Okay.
Good.
A little bit of doing. Highly recommend if you can to have some form of grid here to help you out.
yeah.
Because the negative space can get you, or even just biscuit everything
Yeah.
together.
It would definitely keep some of the drift if it was.
Yeah,
biscuited, but-
yeah, and that was kind of the idea. Was like, oh, what if we just build like whatever? Like we're,
Yeah.
we're just here for the day. I was trying to make it easy to clean up afterwards. And I'm
Keep-
sorry,
keep it
Jesus, it's
snappy
already
for
been
the
an hour.
stream, too.
Yeah. Lisa Al Gaib.
So
Here it is. This is the.
this is the actual. This is what I would call the real. Like, yeah, this is what I would try to play on,
Every time.
and we will try to play on. Here is the cockpit up at the front. That's the one that would be the thing to show off at this moment.
Where's the board at?
It's over there on
It's in
the
the-
Okay.
box because we needed the space here to build
Yes.
the cockpit. I'm gonna
So-
put these back.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal the command console.
For comparison.
It's that one.
Oh.
Would you like assistance?
Yeah, you hold that side.
Great.
All
For
right.
comparison,
It's a little. I think it's a little bigger.
it's a little bigger. just a tad.
Again, it's like 150%. So
Yeah.
it's like, what's nice is we're playing on 6x4.
Yeah.
So a 6 foot by 4 foot. So this is like, I'd say this is a general dining table.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I've been in New York apartments too long, so I
Yeah.
forget how big dining tables.
Yeah,
are.
I
I've
don't
been had
know.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But regardless, the main point is, as we have actually physically put it together, I'm realizing how much more extra space we've been able to leave.
Yeah, so we could
On
definitely
everything.
play on this table, right?
Yes.
Like we could have the player cards and be doing.
That's
doing
the big
stuff
one.
we-
Is it like
yeah.
player cards? Additionally, room cards again, right? Like having to either place it on top or place it to the side of each room. There's also space. That's kind of the other reason to have the empty spots from the 2x2s and stuff. Is that it allows for placing this where it needs to go, so that you can actually make certain that you remember what each room is supposed to be and what it's for. Obviously, this one over here is going to be a little bit more difficult, but there's still some empty space. But again, we also do have extra pylons, so you can even add in some extra flavor if you want to the build itself, right? So you can go ahead and make extra little spots if you want to. Not anything that you can interact with technically, but if you want to also use this as a spot to place miniatures for certain rooms or whatever, utilizing your extra accessories for that can be very helpful, I think. Right, so now you can still mess around with the room if you absolutely, if this becomes the nest even, right? If this becomes the nest room or whatever, having some extra piece, having a pylon as an extra just in general.
If you have our little like bug egg piece, if you have that, that'd be great.
Yeah, if you have the egg sacs, yeah, from the Cree. But let's go ahead and talk about one or two other things about this. So we've got ramps here. I don't have enough ramps right now. We're packing for Adepticon, so a lot of those are kind of going out there. But we do have enough staircases, and I'm going to put another staircase over here. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because there's 9 metal stairs in the large bundle. So we can actually put 2 on each side here,
Make that a little cleaner.
because we can even just make this go that direction. Give it a nice platform or whatever. Now this actually becomes a great place, because I was wanting to test it. Yep, that was exactly what I was thinking. Now you can actually still have your noise in the corridor leading to the cockpit, but give it a little extra, again, effect of verticality within the build.
You could show like broken with the klaxon. If
You
If
could.
a room's broken, you could use.
Yeah,
the
you
klaxon for that.
could.
That'd be fun.
No, yeah, I'm really, yeah, you're exactly right. I wanted to talk a little bit about the cockpit build up here. So we've got this is pretty much the only free-form area here, right? It's not actively attached outside of the ramps. So you can actually do a little bit of extra movement, or if you wanted to be closer or do something else, you're more than welcome to. What we've done is we've actually taken the barricades, as you can see up front, put those on the 2 extra accessory walls that we have, flip them over. Now we have our multi-modules also helping us stabilize throughout. Now, what's nice about that is that they have the same height because everything's built on the half-inch increments. Additionally, you can even helpfully, you could disguise them more if you wanted to by flipping them to the sides or whatever. When we do the real build for the game, we'll probably do sort of like a walkthrough Star Trek, the motion picture style, go through the whole ship over 20 minutes and never actually start the movie. But yeah, so we've also done here, right, is one of the difficulties with this was because it was mirrored, we had to create a center space that could then be mirrored on each side. So that makes this cockpit have a hard time coming back to a point because of that 1 inch extra here. So we just use our half-inch extenders in between our 1x2s. Put a trapdoor because we have more trapdoors currently not in use than 2x2s.
Got trapdoors for days.
Yeah. So is that true? Because we should have used 8 of them.
Maybe.
How many did we use?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. And how many are there?
6.
Okay,
So 13 total.
there's 12 total. So somehow
There's a couple more. Than
maybe when there should only be 5 extra.
5 extra, not 6. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of the other note I would make against this is that you can replace any of the 2x2s with any of your trapdoors and do some extra interesting things with like hex field or blast door panels. You can even stack them up if you want to and create a half-inch of space.
Or like for I don't know if you.
Right,
I
you
like
could-
using them as windows. So
Yeah.
if you put hex field in it and like just swap a couple things around, so you have like a floor here
Yeah.
and replace a wall with this on the side and have a hex field in there if you want to throw some windows on the ship.
When
Which
you
is generally a bad idea in a spaceship.
Right. And we have 4 straight walls left over. And that was just, again, for the interest of space. So, again, you could, for a couple of space, like for those back 2 rooms, if you really wanted to, you could open them out just one more because you have 4 in total.
Expand 'em out.
Additionally, you can also replace your straight walls with the window walls. So any place that you see a straight wall, especially if it's on the exterior or in the interior, you could put a window wall there if you would like. Or you can even replace the one that has the portal, the floor that has the portal, this guy right here. Where we're indicating where the escape pods are, you could use your window walls there instead if you want. Lastly, as we move forward with our stretch goals, I know that some of you have seen a really cool thing. Maybe that's why we also try to make this go to a point. So if somebody were to, I don't know, if we unlock the cockpit, which is
I mean, they've seen it.
possibly a thing that exists in this project.
Is there first like vocal confirmation of the?
Well,
I
the
think
piece
that
exists.
was blatantly in
Yeah.
in the
in
intro
enough,
video.
yeah, in enough
like,
things
the,
that it's
the
like
first, it's one of the first 3 pieces
that you
that they
see.
see.
Yeah.
So fucking.
Whoa!
So yeah. So it's a thing where
Everybody's dying.
yeah. It's a thing where you can that the space here is perfect for something that was the same size as a bay window, for instance, and utilize the same kind of construction. That would be a good idea. You could do that. So yes, this is the build. We've used a large bundle. We even have a couple extra core pieces when we do it. I would not recommend less than a large bundle if you're trying to build this thing, though. There are too many rooms where you're effectively just making if you're just making a square box, like it's just not going to be enough room to play in. Why do it?
You need the amount of corners that it takes to just like reasonably sell the illusion of these rooms, and then you also need the floor space, and then the catwalks that it gives you are just really good for selling the corridors.
There are 11 number 1 rooms. There are 5 number 2 rooms. There are 3 engine rooms, 1 hibernation chamber, 1 cockpit. There are 28 corridors. I've used all of my corners, all of my diagonal walls, all of my accessory walls, pretty much all of my 2x2s. I think I ended up getting to go back up to 28, But yes, I did. I should have gone back up to 28. We have a couple of 1x2. No, wait. Here they are. Here's the 2. We have 2 2x2s, 2 1x2s, 5 trapdoor floors left over. And then you have all your accessories. And even with our multi-modules, what do we use over here? Is that 6?
I use 5.
5?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.
So if we use 6 up here at the top for the hibernation chambers for the pods, that's 11.
Yeah.
And so you still have 4 left over. Oh, wait, sorry. And then 12.
Oh, yeah.
And then... Oh, shoot. There was supposed to be one right here.
Oh.
So we basically probably have like 1 left over from at the end of the day.
So the point is, for everybody who's wondering, what does it take to build Nemesis? 1 large bundle.
1 large bundle.
Mm-hmm.
1 large bundle, and then add stretch goal pieces to taste.
Yep.
Dynamo turbine is great for the engine room if you want to have like a cool engine.
You'll need 3,
Yeah.
but if you want to do all 3, you could just do 1 and do it in the center.
Yeah.
Like that was because here's the other thing about this room. If you want to just real quick as we start to end the stream here, I think is the intention. So we use the pylons, right, to suspend it, which is awesome. But even if you wanted to, as we still have,
These straight walls.
right,
Yeah.
we do still have these things that we can also, like you said, we can use these as windows.
Yeah.
Or even just back panels with the pipe inserts. And then on the opposite side, we can use the blast door panel or something to give the illusion of it closed off. So this is still another way. And this will fit your card. It should fit your card as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the best case scenario in terms of having some pieces left over, is that like in the interest of, if there's something you want to do slightly differently, you could even, if you want to come back, Chris, if you even wanted to, you can then take, I'm going to sneeze, and I hate it.
Oh.
No, it's done.
Muted.
I was able to stop it.
Okay, well, never mind. False
You
flag.
can, because you also still have an additional 2 straight walls, you could try to do something here as well. You could even, right, like, or have this fit in here and put your corners.
You
make
can
it
do like
bigger.
a little step up, set these here, have a little bit of walls or something.
Yes.
Any number of things
There's
you can do.
the addition of pieces is always going to be helpful, but again, like Chris said, the biggest trouble is you need the amount of corners, you need the amount of diagonals. So this is 24 corners and 20 diagonals. So if you find a different way to do that with your bundle and 26 straight walls and 26 2x2s and 22 1x2s and 7 trapdoor floors, if you find a way to do it, good job.
Yeah. I
You'll
think
need 3 catwalk cores and I guess 2 catwalk megas and then an additional 3rd catwalk core.
Yeah,
'Cause
and I
you'll
think the
have
main
to.
thing is, I would probably not buy a large bundle exclusively to play, Nemesis.
this game.
Exclusively play Nemesis. I probably wouldn't drop that money just to play Nemesis. However, if you're on the fence about a large bundle and you got a lot of other stuff you want to make, you're trying to decide between medium and large, if you happen to play Nemesis, getting a large will let you do a ton of other stuff as well as build a full Nemesis board.
I
So,
got the opportunity to do one of the large bundle builds for the walkthrough video that we did, and it was a lot of fun to play with. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, it's great. Like, at no point was I like struggling with
Yeah.
like, oh, if I just had X. In the end, I was like, oh, I got some pieces. I bet I could add something really neat here, right? So
Right.
I like it, but
I don't have much more to say.
yeah, I feel like
Anything
that's-
else I say is just going to be about me, so. Unless you want to spend more time on that.
I think, well, I guess, does anybody have any questions about it?
Yeah.
I guess is the main thing. I'm just glad we managed to pull it off and finally just get the answer.
Yeah.
Because that's been one of the biggest questions. Then there's still, people wondering about some other games that would be great to try. Do
Mhm.
you want to play a couple rounds?
I'm good.
I saw somebody asking. I'm like, I mean, the time is one thing, but also, I do not remember how to play. It's been too long. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the main thing is even outside of playing Nemesis, you could just do this as a big spaceship crawl.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, sorry. One thing about the cockpit and the hibernation chamber, the ramps. You have at least 5 ramps in your large bundle at the end of it. So ramps on either side, right, help us get back up to this height. And additionally, the only really easy way to get to this height at the cockpit because of
The extra inch.
the
beyond
extra inches
barricades.
you're getting from the barricade is the ramp.
Yeah.
Because the ramp will then, if I can just carefully pull this one.
I got it.
All right. Just even Steven it right there again. So one of the high advantages to the adjustable ramp.
Yeah.
And also why you don't need like a bunch of them, because you kind of only need so many at once anyway. But this is highly useful, especially with the diagonals as well. It's kind of a way for you to get them off of the usual pattern, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
So yeah.
So, I guess that's it. Nemesis accomplished.
Yeah.
I have still a question. Any combination of current stilts make the new height, or if you did a 2-level build?
Say it again.
Still question. Any combination of current stilts make the new height, or if you did a 2-level build?
Yeah. I mean, the multi-modules are only an inch, so I don't. Oh, God, do we have a 25 millimeter?
We have a 12.
We have a 12, a 38, and a 50.
We do not have a 25.
But the 50 and the 38 are square, so they are only an inch. So if you put it on its side, yes.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Are the beds coming in any other sets other than interior accessories? What do you want to do about this? How do you want to play this? The beds are being removed from the interior accessories pack. You will not be able to buy the beds anymore. No, the opposite. Is it?
I'm just trying to decide if I want the stream to crash in this moment without answering or not.
That'd be fun.
Just
How would
weighing
you
my
do that?
options. Where's the button to make the stream crash? Okay. So we were hoping to wait until Monday, but I don't see a reason as to not vocalize it. There's been a pretty strong opinion about the capsule beds and how cool they are and how much we want them. And my God, could I get an easier way to do it than also being thrust upon with 2 command consoles?
That's more computers than beds.
Then,
Was it
in
my
my gracious wisdom, I decided to look at the piece breakdown that I made and say, Tyler, you fool, it's in one pack. The capsule bed is only available in the interior dressing. That's a problem. So Nate and I discussed it. We were, again, this is something that I'm going to repeat, and it has been repeated enough in the Discord. It has been repeated enough in the comments. You guys are always really, like 90% of the time, I'm always really happy to engage with requests, and we're happy to listen, and we want to know what you want. Long story short, Nate and I got to talking about it, realizing that it does feel not only like an oversight, but it does feel limiting to that piece because we do really like it, and we do think it is a piece that deserves higher multiples because when you utilize it, it's going to be something that you can use as storage containers, that you can use as beds, as you can use them vertically. You can use them in so many different ways that, like, to trap them specifically behind an interior accessory set does feel like the old way. And it wasn't intentional. It genuinely wasn't. We were just thinking, oh, an interior accessories. That's going to be great. That's going to shore up a lot of those pieces that people are going to want. The other piece is the energy unit. That's another one that has been highly enough requested highly enough for its value, right? Like for the piece value.
Swiss Army Mage literally just brought that up as he brought it up. He's like, yeah, the energy module also seems hard to get.
So again, we wanted to wait till Monday just so we could like do a cooler surprise on that day. But we will be adding a pack to the assortment. It's going to be called the Barracks Pack, and it will include capsule beds. It will include the energy unit and a multi-module. We will be making this pack. It will be available next week, so you can add it to your order. This is in the interest of, again, two pieces that we think, while the energy unit is in more things, it is a highly useful item that we want to put out there more. Additionally, a barracks pack is the theming around it, right? Like this is 4 beds, 2 units, and a module. This is what you would put in, just an army bunker at the end of the day. Like this is sleeping quarters. This is personal effects. The energy unit then also gets to double as a table, or it's also like where they're getting their orders or whatever's coming in.
A little hologram table.
Yeah, a little hologram table.
That
Something.
little droid with the Sidious hologram and.
Just want a cute little boy who's just like, time to wake up.
I pitched the sleepover pack as a name and it didn't get a lot of traction. Yeah.
You're on a slumber party.
Slumber party
The
pack.
pillow fight pack.
The slumber party.
It needed
Pillow
a
fight pack?
alliteration.
Nice.
Oh, do I have a price leak I could sneeze? Again, where's the button that breaks the stream? Oh yeah, that's a good leak.
Yeah, I think that,
Talk about WikiLeaks. Means nothing, but
No.
I want to see if it could become a thing. I want it to be like fetch. Pricing wise, I actually have to. I usually have these in my head, but I have to look it up.
boo.
Sorry, I made it yesterday.
Boo. Yeah, we're always working behind the scenes.
Okay, so
There's
that's
no
gonna
sitting
be.
in space.
There's no sitting in space.
Someone mentioned space chairs. There's no sitting in space. Your hands can't sit. It takes up playable space.
There's
no sitting in space.
There's no
Yeah.
gravity.
Also, you could use the energy module like with the thing for a table, and you could just have the energy module as a stool.
Right.
Like it can just double as that as well.
It's just like I'm multifaceted.
Yeah.
So it is a $39 painted, $22 unpainted pack.
Nice. That's 4
Polygons.
beds, 2 energy units, a multi-module.
Yes, and that's kind of the key. Again, as we're trying to do with any of our accessories and dressings, I think one last note before we actually head out is, in my opinion, the way that we've been doing this. I've seen a lot of the comments that it is appreciated and that you guys have really liked how this has been coming about, like this project, how we've composed all the packs and how we've packaged everything in the bundles. There might be, 1 or 2 things you wish you could have more of, but again, on the whole, that's what you guys have been saying. That kind of breaks it down to me in the categories that I've been trying to do for compositions since Lowtown. We have core sets, expansion sets, and accessory packs. And so those usually should try to hit the same price points. So for a lot of you, when you're seeing like, hey, I'm trying to switch around some of these orders, but they're kind of coming up to the same price points every time, which is great. That's why. A core set should have a great value and be able to build something right out of the box, but it's going to be a bit more expensive. It's going to be the range between $130 to $180 painted, right? Like that's the targets that we're trying to look at. For an expansion set, it should build on top of what a core set does, either as a different system or as just a few pieces that like
Specialty pieces. From the core set.
Exactly. So those should target any price ranges between like 60 and 120 painted. And our accessory packs are all of the dressing and scatter, and even stairs or doors, right? Things that are going to be small enough that you'll definitely get them in the core packs, but we want a way to get easier bulk. Those are going to be our general target areas are between 30 and 60. So like if you're starting to see that, or if you're starting to notice that, that's why. It is purposeful from my point of view. I want it to be good compositions, and I want it to be effectively trackable pricing. So if you're seeing an accessory pack, it's why we're trying to make it that price point so that it's easier to attain. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
That's it. That's the tweet. Cool. Yeah, I think that's generally, there's nothing else to cover.
Just don't say that.
Deja vu, weirdly. That moment. All right.
From the old stream days, maybe.
Maybe.
Good speech. Let's make the pledge a lot easier again. Cheers. Go try cannon for cash. Oh yeah. The second cache came out today as well, which you said at the beginning.
Yeah.
The goal is to reveal the other 2 caches on the next 2 Fridays.
At
as well.
noon.
At noon.
The next 2 Fridays, we will reveal the caches.
And hopefully, you'll all feel like there's a cache in there for you.
None of them are Johnny.
No.
No. They're not Johnny.
I'm just remembering what I said a couple days ago.
About Johnny Cash?
No cold hard.
Well, we'll talk about it once we end the
Okay.
stream. Yeah.
All right, everybody. So that was the Nemesis thing. I'm gonna get some photos of that so we can show everybody. But just generally, hey, you can do Nemesis.
Yep.
With a large bundle, and that's pretty cool. All right, we're gonna get out of here.
Damn tootin'.
Yeah, we're gonna get out of here. We got a lot of other stuff we got to do for the weekend. Pack up for Adepticon and everything.
Put this away.
But yeah, put all this away. We gotta get some photos of it first.
No, yeah. I'm not. Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.